I'm in.
Okay, Mickey, I think that we have 3 voting members and Chris is now on. So you just let us know when you're ready to start the script, please.
Okay, we are live and ready.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for this video conference meeting, which is running late and will have only will not have all of the items able to be voted on. We do have a few announcements to make regarding the video conference meeting. If the video conference is disconnected at any time during the meeting shall be stopped and reconvened once the connection is restored. If communications are unable to be restored with 30 minutes, items remaining for consideration will be continued to later today, May 26th at 4 p.m. via video conference. The agenda and documents are located on okc.gov. Anyone wishing to speak about an agenda item, public hearing, or to speak under citizens to be heard, please call 405-297-2422 or email okwit-support@okc.gov. Please provide your name, phone number, the item number, and the reason you wish to comment. If you could call in after your item has been heard, you will be allowed to speak under citizens to be heard. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to comment. I ask that all participants, except the trust members, keep their phones on mute until they are recognized to speak. Trust members will be allowed to ask questions or comments at any time during the meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to ask for an approval of the minutes of the May 12, 2020 Oklahoma City Water Utility Trust meeting. Recognize a motion to that effect. Are we on mute? Can someone make a motion?
Okay, trustees, if you can't see your buttons,
I made a motion.
escape.
Okay, motion's been moved. Is there a second? We need a second to be able to pass the minutes. It's spinning. Is there a member of the trust board who would vote to approve the minutes?
I would vote to approve the minutes. I absolutely see nothing on my screen now. My meeting has disappeared and my Zoom has disappeared.
Okay, well, that was the second motion. All in favor, please say aye. No opposed?
Aye.
No opposed, thank you. We'll now see if we can fix your.
I think Mickey will need to do a roll call by name if they can't vote.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need.
So Mickey, can you tell me anything? Everything's gone.
Okay, Laura, at the bottom of your screen, can you see your
Okay, now I
icon?
can see PrimeGov, but I can't see Zoom.
Okay, at the top of your screen, does it say talking or is it just a single box with whoever's speaking?
Okay, I'm back. I've got it.
Okay.
So are we caught up?
Yeah.
The next item is the
Hold on, we need to vote.
we didn't vote?
Yeah, okay, we're good.
Okay. Moving next to the consent docket, items A through N. Are there anybody who'd like to speak about any individual item? If not, I'd recognize a motion to approve it all.
Did we not have to have a roll call on that last vote since people didn't vote electronically?
I voted by voice.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Francis is joining the meeting as we speak.
Okay.
Thank you, Francis. Okay, we have the consent docket once again. Items A through N. I need a motion to approve this consent docket.
Carl, are we doing everything voice-wise or are we doing things actually on the computer?
We're doing it electronically. You just got to give me a minute to prompt the buttons.
Okay. I'm just trying to move it along.
Hey, you're doing a great job as always.
Well, except I can't hit any of the right buttons.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this is Laura Johnson, and I understand that Mr. Greenwell is trying to join us, so that should help us with the debt items. We should have the necessary votes then.
Great.
Laura, I believe Mr. Stonecipher has joined us as well.
Great, awesome.
Okay, right now we have a motion on the floor to approve the consent docket. I think there was a second. All in favor, please say aye. Or vote yes.
I voted yes.
Mr. Edwards, can we get you to vote, please?
Yes. My button here is yes. I voted yes.
Okay, Mr. Greenwell, are you on the line?
I am, excuse me, I'm just trying to get in.
Nikki, we have enough for the consent docket. It was a debt item I was concerned about on the items for individual.
Yeah, Mr. Greenwell, if we could just get a voice vote on the consent docket.
Yes, my vote is yes. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have it passed.
Mickey, Stonecipher is here too. If you all just give him a minute.
Yeah, he voted electronically.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to the concurrence docket. The concurrence docket has one item to concur with the City of Oklahoma City in approving amendment number 2 and change order number 3 with Young Contracting LLC, projects DC 0271, Phase 3, drainage improvements, Brock Creek and Twin Creek drainage basins, WC-0960, water line replacement, and SC-1033 sewer line replacement, Southwest 19th Street and Westwood Boulevard to Southwest 15th Street and Barnes Avenue, an increase of $44,535.08 with no OQUT funds. I would recognize a motion to approve that.
I move for approval.
It's been moved. Is there
I'm
a
sorry.
second? That's okay. Is there a second? Now we're ready.
Well, we'll have a quorum when we get to the meeting again, though, won't we?
I hope so.
Yeah. There are 4 votes. Get 5 of them the way things are going.
Where are we? Did we get through the, are we to the concurrence
We're in the
docket?
middle of voting on
Concurrence.
We're starting the concurrence docket, okay.
Will you go up and tell Frances that we got it back up? Okay. So I think she went to EDT, but it's whatever she wants to do. Everybody but Greenwell is still in. Greenwell may have went to EDT. Is he on EDT?
But he
Oh.
was saying he has another commitment too, so.
Mickey? Okay, we have everything back up and all trustees except for Mr. Greenwell are still connected in PrimeGov.
Mickey, this is Crystal Kowalik. Can you let me in? It says it's waiting to let me in.
Okay. Get back over there if I can't.
Okay.
Michelle?
All right, Crystal, you should be in.
Thank you.
Are we ready to go? Okay, we have the concurrence docket. I'll read it. Concur with the City of Oklahoma City in approving amendment number 2 and change order number 3 with Young Contracting LLC, projects DC 0271, Phase 3, drainage improvements, Brock Creek and Twin Creek drainage basins, WC-0960, water line replacement, and SC 1033, sewer line replacement, Southwest 19th Street and Westwood Boulevard to Southwest 15th and Barnes Avenue, and increase to $44,535.08, parentheses, no Oakwood funds, close parentheses. I'd recognize a motion for approval. Did I hear a motion for approval?
Come on, Chairman, give me a minute to open the stuff.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second? All in favor, please say aye. Or yay, or nay, or yay.
Aye.
Okay. It's passed. We have several items for individual consideration. I will say right now that items C and D will not be able to be addressed today. Or
Mr. Greenwell came back on.
oh, since Mr. Greenwell's back on, we can do C and D. Okay, we have 7 items for individual consideration. First, plans and specifications to be advertised for bids, project WC 0863, balancing tank replacements for Atoka pipeline pump stations, Stonewall, Ada, and Kanawha, Oklahoma. Recognize the motion for approval.
So moved.
Been moved. I need a second. I need a second.
You got a second?
I've got a second. Vote. It's approved.
Yeah, I'm in. Thanks, man.
I need a vote from Councilman Stone Cipher, please.
Aye. It's not pulling up for me.
Okay, are we set? It's passed. Item number B, under items for individual consideration.
Yeah.
Ratifying and approving addenda numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, revising plans and specifications, deleting mandatory pre-bid meeting, postponing bid opening date, adding alternate bids numbers 1 and 2, clarifying lake levels and identifying qualified bidders, awarding contract to Downey Contracting LLC, project WM 0230, boat ramp and courtesy dock, East Atoka Lake Road, $837,262, and approving contract and bonds. Recognize the motion for approval.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Hello?
Oh, my, okay. I can't vote. Are we voting via voice or are we voting on the electronically?
Electronics.
Okay, we need a motion and perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Moved and seconded. It passed. Next item for individual consideration.
I don't know what the deal is.
We will do number C, resolution agreeing to file an application with the Oklahoma Water Resources Board for financial assistance through the Financial Assistance Loan Program,
Doing crap over there.
with the loan proceeds being for the purpose of refinancing certain outstanding indebtedness with the Oklahoma Water Resource Board, approving and authorizing a loan from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $55 million, approving the issuance of its promissory note in the total aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $55 million.
We close Zoom out of both computers and log back in to get it to pull it back up.
Wow.
Secured by a subordinate lien pledge of revenues and authorizing its execution, approving and authorizing the execution of a loan agreement, designating a local trustee and approving and authorizing the execution of a trust agreement, approving and authorizing the execution of a security agreement, ratifying and confirming certain utility lease agreements, approving and authorizing a note purchase agreement, approving various covenants, approving and authorizing the disbursement of trust funds in connection with the reference loan and payment of fees and expenses, authorizing termination of certain forward delivery agreements containing other authorization and provisions relating thereto. There need to be 4 affirmative votes required for approval. I would ask for, just, excuse me. We don't have a vice chair. Do we not have the votes?
We have votes. We have 4.
We still have 4 votes. Or we still have 4 people to vote. So appreciate your voting. It's been moved by Laura Johnson, seconded by Jessica Martinez Brooks. Please notify that you have voted. And it passes. Moving to item D, resolution of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust authorizing and approving the issuance of 1 commercial paper notes Series A tax exempt and commercial paper notes Series B taxable, collectively called the notes, in a combined aggregate principal amount not to exceed $350 million principal amount outstanding at any one time, and not to exceed $700 million in total aggregate principal amount issued, waiving competitive bidding for the sale of the notes, authorizing and approving the negotiated sale of the notes at a price less than par, establishing parameters for the discount and interest rates on the notes, authorizing certificate of determination, setting forth the discount, interest rates, redemption provisions, size and maturities of the notes, approving a dealer agreement, authorizing a preliminary commercial paper offering memorandum and final commercial paper offering memorandum, and authorizing the use and distribution thereof, authorizing, approving, and directing the execution of a second amendment to the revolving credit agreement, and authorizing and directing the general manager to negotiate subsequent amendments to the credit agreement, authorizing, approving, and directing the execution of an amended and restated order authorizing commercial paper notes, the issuer and paying agent agreement, the depository and security agreement, and all other documents relating to the commercial paper program, authorizing all documents, certificates, representations, instructions, and letters necessary or incidental to the issuance of such notes, authorizing the distribution thereof, authorizing and directing the execution, authentication, and delivery of the notes, and containing other provisions relating thereto. Once again, we need 4 affirmative votes. I'd recognize a motion for approval. It's been moved by Mr. Stonecipher, and it's seconded by Jessica Martinez Brooks, and we will all call for a vote now. It's passed. Thank you. Moving into number E, joint resolution with the City of Oklahoma City, repealing the joint resolution of February 26, 2019, authorizing execution of the conformed settlement agreement and authorizing execution of the State of Oklahoma, Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, Chickasaw Nation, City of Oklahoma City Water Settlement, May 2020. I would recognize a motion for approval. It's been moved by Laura Johnson, seconded by Jessica Martinez Brooks. We will vote. It passes. Thank you. Item number F, presentation on fiscal year 2021 Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust budget. And that will be presented by Brett Weingarten.
I need someone to share my screen.
And Mickey, Crystal Kowalik will be doing the presentation. If you could enable screen sharing for her, please.
Okay, give me just a second. Okay, she should be able to do that now.
So the F is the budget, G is the CIP.
Mr. Chairman, Brett will be given the presentation on the budget, which is item F1.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman and trustees, I'm pleased to present to you the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust budget for FY21. Slide 2. The core business initiatives for the Utilities Department, you've seen these before, is to commit to being safe work environment for our employees and the public, providing a quality customer service and meeting expectations for effective service delivery, securing additional water supplies and reliably delivering water to Central Oklahoma, system reliability and resiliency, continue efforts to maintain and upgrade our systems to enhance the reliability and resiliency of our utility systems to minimize the likelihood of service disruption, financial management, consistently follow strong financial management principles to obtain the highest available credit ratings and maintain those for our debt issuances to lower costs to our customers. Regulatory compliance, we're committed to full compliance with regulations and directives of all regulatory agencies. Next slide. The funding sources for the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust for FY21, it's proposed that we provide capital project funds through debt issuances of $247 million for the CIP, water service charges of 180 million, wastewater service charges of 115, and other sources such as water SDCs, system development charges, wastewater system development charges, and non-ratepayer money. Next slide. The uses of these funds are proposed to be for $349 million of capital improvements. So some of those will be funded by PAYGO from net revenues. City operations transfers of $93 million to the city for the water wastewater utilities funding. Debt service of 58 million, trust operations of 34. Trust operations includes things like franchise fees, system lease fees, pavement maintenance, trustee bank fees, the line maintenance, supplemental repair services, city parks mowing, natural gas, liquid fuels, Infomark, water lime hauling, landscape driveway repairs, and billing administrative services. Wastewater treatment plant operations for our outsourced operations and maintenance of wastewater plants, 19 million, including electricity for those facilities. Transfers to McGee Creek for operations of 2 million and non-ratepayer activities of $1 million. Next slide. We propose in FY21 to focus on quality and lean processes, pursue continuous quality improvement. In March of 2019, the trust authorized us to participate in the Oklahoma Quality Foundation to establish a quality program and be committed as an organization to pursuing continuous quality improvement initiatives. We have a Greenbelt program for certifying our management employees, and we've already saved $1.6 million to date. Next slide. Customer service. We're going to promote conservation. We're reclassing 4 water conservation positions to streamline conservation knowledge, improve the resolution of consumption and water leak related billing concerns by upgrading 2 plumbing positions to attract qualified candidates, to engage with private plumbers and customers to resolve their unexplained water loss and billing issues at the homes and businesses. We're going to improve the customer's experience by introducing a new customer portal during this summer so that customers can more easily set up paperless billing and do more self-service options. We're proposing to upgrade a vacant position to a business intelligence specialist to be able to promote the ability for our management employees and our other employees to more quickly obtain higher quality real-time information so they can make better decisions in the field. Water supply, next slide. We're proposing to establish a Southeast Oklahoma Water Supply Division. Last year, you authorized the addition of a Southeastern Oklahoma Water Supply Superintendent. Now we're merging a number of other positions with that position, and he is now located down in Atoka and overseeing McGee Creek and South Atoka pipeline area facilities. We're also proposing moving some funds for those folks into that budget of $379,000 to establish that group. Next slide. Financial management will continue to our efforts of long-term planning, cost of service, debt management, financial operations, contract administration. We're proposing to add a business manager position to oversee the financial operations. We're proposing to add a fleet services manager to assist the superintendent over fleet services to produce equipment specifications and oversee all of the outsourced contracts that we have. And we're proposing increasing the reserves we have in the city budget of $110,000 in water and $109,000 in wastewater. Next slide. System reliability and resiliency. We're proposing to upgrade our computer systems to more readily provide more detailed system pressure information throughout the city and better manage that more evenly so we can reduce the potential that changes in pressure can cause main breaks and disrupt our customer satisfaction. We're proposing to add an additional position in the warehouse to improve our ability to manage supplies and get those timely delivered to crews so we can improve productivity. We're also proposing to decommission the Overholser water plant, which has only seasonally been run and hasn't been run for the last 2 years. Next slide. On regulatory compliance, the federal government approved a new America Infrastructure Act for water that requires a significant amount of additional ongoing activities and reporting by the utilities. And we're proposing adding a regulatory compliance person to that team and provide that oversight on an ongoing basis and perform those functions. We're also responding to ODQ regulations requiring pharmaceutical and marijuana oversight for discharge, and we're adding positions for that. We're also upgrading the remaining field positions in the mechanics, facility plant mechanics and fuel mechanic positions so that they can have skill-based earned progression opportunities. And the facility plant mechanics will be required to have DEQ operator licenses similar to the operators so that they can comply with state regulations for the licensing. Next slide. In responding to the pandemic situation and the economic effects of it, we're proposing to defer capital expenditures of about $21.6 million, defer our vehicle and equipment purchase of about $2.3 million, and see how the economy evolves. And if we are able to propose moving some of those sooner again during 21, we'll recommend those to the trust, but that will bring us into line with what our projections are of revenue changes for this year. Next slide. So our new mission statement that we are introducing today shows that we're committed to providing water, wastewater, and trash collection services throughout central Oklahoma to safeguard public health and the environment, support public safety, and enable economic prosperity. And with that presentation, I'll open it up to any questions or comments you may have.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'd recognize a motion for approval. Don't have a motion yet.
I'll move the item
been moved. Is there a second? We need a second. Okay, we got one. So vote. And it passes. Thank you so much, Brett. Good work. We'll move on to item G now. Presentation on 5-year 2021 to 2025 Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust Capital Improvement Plan. And sorry.
Mr. Chairman, Crystal Kowalik will be presenting this item for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman and trustees. I'm here to present to you the capital improvement plan for the next 5 years. I would like to say that it's typically broken into two pieces, water and wastewater. First, I'm going to talk about the water capital improvement plan, which over the next 5 years will be about $1.2 billion. If you look at your right-hand side of the screen, it's generally into 3 categories: water supply, reliability, resiliency, and general. General typically is your technical upgrades. To the left, I show the bar screen, the blue column row is what we proposed that we were going to do last year, and green is actually what we are going to do this year since we have deferred some projects due to the economic situation. Some of the projects deferred are Atoka Pipeline. That one was actually more deferred because we have had difficulty with getting the fish and wildlife permit last year. So 2 projects that we recommended for last year have now been pushed to this year. We should have that permit within a couple of months. Some water main replacement projects. We're still doing replacement projects, but we are decreasing the amount we're going to be doing for this next year. Some ancillary projects that involve parking, restroom, roadways, and generators, and then some miscellaneous improvements at Hefner and Draper. But we will still be doing a lot of the major work, which I'll describe in greater detail in the next couple slides.
Are there any, do we vote on that or are you still? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're going to be spending $940 million on the water supply side. That's mostly the second Atoka pipeline, some existing pipeline upgrades to the existing Atoka pipeline, and hopefully start the alignment process for the Comanche pipeline. And there are some pictures showing the last Atoka piece of pipe for the Atoka pipeline, and on the upper right-hand corner is the river crossing project, which is our first project for the second Atoka pipeline. We are going to be spending about $205 million on water reliability and resiliency. These are neighborhood line replacement projects, approximately $5 million per year. Asset management, where we are looking at all of our large valves, assessing them and make sure they operate when time we need them, and doing a survey and inventory of other valves and hydrants. We're also going to be doing facility improvements on the chemical feed systems at the plants, which is ozone, lime, polymer, and doing some new clear well storage improvement projects and rehabbing some of the booster stations. On the wastewater capital improvement side, that picture is of our North Canadian plant. It is also broken into 3 categories with their regulatory, reliability and resiliency, and general. We're doing a little bit more tech improvements on the wastewater side this next couple of years. We've already done them on the water, and now we're coming through and doing them into the wastewater plants. Bar greens at the left are also showing deferment, and deferred projects on the sewer side are building upgrades, a central maintenance facility, and we're reducing the amount of asset management. I would like to say, though, even though we're deferring these projects, we're continuing with the engineering, getting them ready to go. So when if the economy turns around, we can bring those forward as soon as possible. So $231 million of that is in reliability and resiliency, which is neighborhood line replacements and asset management. I believe we told you last year that we were going to be, over the next year, next 8 years, we are going to be looking at all of the sewer lines within Oklahoma City, and a lot of the neighborhood replacements are coming from the evaluation of these systems. We're doing facility improvements to the electrical system. The plants are 40 to 50 years old, and a lot of that equipment is its original electrical system, so we are upgrading them, and then we're doing some lift station upgrades as well. 243 million are in regulatory compliance. What you see there, we have one large project this year that's bidding, and it's for South Canadian. It's $110 million, and it's going to accomplish two things. One is we are getting a new discharge permit with tighter limits, and we will be upgrading the plant to be able to handle those limits. And the second is we have reached capacity at the plant, and so we are increasing the capacity from 6 to 9 million gallons per day. And with that, I'll take any questions if you have any.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, it's time to approve the 5-year 2021 through 2025 Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust Capital Improvement Plan. I recognize a motion to that effect. Been moved by Jessica. It's been seconded by Laura. We'll vote.
Councilman Stonecipher, can we get a vote, please? Chairman, it looks like he may have been disconnected, so we're going to record that as an absent.
Okay. So it passes. Are there any items from trustees? Seeing none. General Manager report. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to give you a little bit of update on the state of our revenues relative to the service disconnect moratorium. So we haven't really gained any more accounts that are delinquent. They're hovering around 4,000. I'm sorry, they're hovering around 11,000. And then because they're still delinquent, that dollar amount is increasing every month. And we're up around $4 million now. As you noticed in this year's budget compared to last year's budget, we've really deferred a lot of the capital projects until we get a better understanding of where we're going to be revenue-wise. Typically, we're about 1% bad debt, which is about $3 million. We're anticipating somewhere around 3%, which will be about $9 million. But in deferring the capital projects, we're also deferring debt service coverage. And we've also moved our capital equipment replacements out a year. So with that and the deletion of 20 positions within our organization, we're very, very conservative on the amount of money we've set aside to manage through this coronavirus pandemic. We have a delta beyond what we anticipate our losses this year of about $7 million. So as the year progresses and we get a better understanding of what our revenue losses are really going to be, we can adjust the budget accordingly and then come back to you all and ask for consideration. So if it gets worse, then we'll push a few more projects out. If it gets better, then we'll bring some more projects back into the mix. So we'll have a better understanding towards the middle of this fiscal year, and we come back to you all for consideration accordingly. So with that, is there any question that I might be able to answer relative to the budget presentation or relative to the revenue projections for the year? That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next item is citizens to be heard. And any citizens to be heard can press *6 to unmute themselves and pause for a few seconds to allow them time to unmute. We do not see any citizens to be heard, so I will call for an adjournment. Would someone make that motion? Well, I don't guess I need a motion. We just adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great day.